Hi there, and welcome to HC Media training course, where today we're going to be looking at invoicing and how to produce an invoice, and more importantly, what information is required on it to make it a legal document. My name is Joe Hamilton. I am an award-winning author in business. Yes, I have a book out there on the wonderful Amazon. It's a digital marketing book, and as I'm sure you would have had imagined, and it's called, wait for it, Cake. And cake, I hear you say, why has he called it cake? Well, we call it cake purely because it's got all the ingredients that you need to be a professional marketeer. I just thought it'd be a really catchy name, and it's doing really quite well. So, if you are looking to learn a little bit more about digital marketing, it's well worth a read. As I say, it's on Amazon and it's called Cake. I'm the managing director of HC Media Group. So we're the fastest growing marketing agency in Essex. We started the business about 2 years ago. We're based in Colchester. We moved into an office in Colchester again about 10 months ago. And since then, our business has just gone from strength to strength, which is something that we're really, really proud of. And just wanted to share some of our learnings with you guys, with new startup businesses and indeed with existing businesses. For myself personally, I've managed over 200 retail stores, looking after, business management, looking after their finance department, looking after human resources. And my specialism is in growing businesses through business management, through efficiencies, and making sure that we drive forward the net profit of a particular store or indeed a particular business. So finance for me is all important, and I've worked with a number of household names up and down the UK, some of which you'll be familiar with. Which are here. I started off with the wonderful Whitbread. You may be familiar with Whitbread Inns many, many years ago, and then quickly moved into Thresher. So again, you may remember Thresher is one of the biggest off-license chains within the UK. And when I started with them, I started in back in the 80s. With a flagship store, I might add, in Romford, with 10, maybe 12, between 10 and 12 staff we had at any one point. Really, really good business to be in. As I say, it was a flagship store, and we're one of the most profitable throughout the business. And from then I moved in and was quickly promoted to the area manager for Thresher, and in Essex and sort of London area. I moved in then to regional manager before thinking, right, what else is out there? What else can I influence? What other business can I share my knowledge and influence with? And I moved then across to the Co-op, which I'm sure you are all familiar with, again as an area manager with Co-op, and more recently with Well. So Well is a pharmacy business with stores up and down the country. Really, really good business to be in. And I was an area manager with Well for about 11 years. Again, looking after 25 stores, sort of Essex, North London, and all the trials and tribulations that go with running stores in and around that area. But nonetheless, successful area, successful stores, and decided then to branch out on my own, which is why set up HC Media. So they're just a couple of the big brands I've been with. I've also worked for several smaller businesses on a consultancy basis. Some of them are only 4 or 5 employees, and they're just looking for some help, support, and advice on how to drive their business forward, how to protect the bottom line, and to introduce some efficiencies and some cost savings to make sure that they drive forward that net profit line. So I've really enjoyed that also. That said, if you would like to get in touch with me directly on what you're about to learn today, or indeed on any other questions that you have, then please email me on team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. That's team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. It would be an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and so please feel free to do that if you so wish. As promised, we're going to look at invoicing. First of all, we've got to, understand what is an invoice. So effectively, an invoice is a bill. It's a document that you send someone else who owes you money. And it's what you send to a client or a customer when there's a balance due. So for items that you've sold, for services that you've sold, 99% of businesses will want you to surrender an invoice. And there's a number of different templates out there on the internet for you to use. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about what needs to be included on that invoice to make it a legal document. So if you're registered for VAT, the tax digital software that you choose, that generally speaking, that will actually produce an invoice for you, which is really, really handy. We use Xero in HC Media, and that actually produces an invoice for us. But in the early stages, we had to produce our own manual invoices, and again, I'll show you that over the next couple of slides. For sole traders, you can, of course, produce, as I say, a manual invoice. And again, there's loads of templates out there, but you must include some important information on there, as I say, for it to be a legal document. And we'll explore that now. So again, apologies for this huge, busy slide, but if we go through each one in turn, it'll all make sense, I'm absolutely sure. So this is a manual invoice that we produced at HC Media when we first started out. And the very first thing that you'll notice on there in the top right hand side is our logo. It's not necessary to have a logo, but it does look much more professional if you do have your logo on your invoice. The next one down is invoice number. So this is really, really important. You need some form of tracking device to be able to track if your invoice has been paid or not. So how you number your invoices is entirely up to you. I have devised an easier way for me to track invoices payment, and you may see that this invoice is HCM 200401. So what that means for me is I have invoiced a company called HCM, which is in this instance is HC Media. I normally just use the first 3 letters of the business. So in this instance, it's HC Media. 20 refers to the year. So it is 2020. It's 04, which suggests that it's April, and it's 01, which would be the first invoice. So again, next month, that would be HCM 200502. And again, it just makes it easier for me to track, but it's entirely up to you what numbering system you wish to use. You're more than welcome to use mine if you so wish. The next section then on the left-hand side is the company that you're invoicing. So their name and address. Simple as that. Just their name and address goes on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, will go your company name and address. Again, quite straightforward. Yes, there's a section there for the date, and I've also put in our telephone number on that invoice also. Number 3 is the reference number of the order. Now, again, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be using the invoice number here, as I always do. So I'll put in the contract reference number. For me is the same as the invoice number. Number 4 is payment terms. So again, on the invoice, your client needs to know what the payment terms are. So for us, generally speaking, it's payment on receipt of invoice, which would be immediately, and payment up front, or if you have agreed that the payment terms should be 30 days, which means that the invoice is due 30 days after receipt. And number 5 is the customer details. So, and again, for the purpose of this illustration, I've used HC Media Solutions Limited, and I put the customer details in there. Number 6, again, really quite straightforward, the quantity of the purchased item. And in this instance, it's just 1. And the description, so the description of the purchased item. So HC Media Solutions Limited has bought from us SEO and digital marketing for the month of April 2020. So again, that detail goes in there. and of course the total price of the item purchased, which is £3,000. Woohoo! It doesn't always happen as easy as that, believe you me. So that's the total price of the item. Now that has got to be ex VAT. You then move into the total of the purchase before VAT. So if there was more lines on there, like SEO, digital marketing, and they also had lead generation, and they also had pay per click, then of course you would put each of those in there ex VAT. You then get to a subtotal, which is number 9 there, and number 10 is working out how much the VAT is. So the VAT being 20%, so £600, 20% of 3,000. And then number 11 is the total of the purchase, including the VAT. So the total that this company owes you is £3,600. Regardless if they're registered for VAT or not, they will still have to pay £3,600. It just means that they won't be able to claim back the VAT. So that's quite important to know. So make sure that if you're VAT registered, that you put the VAT in all of your invoices. Number 12 is how to pay the invoice. Again, it's important to let the customer know how to pay. And again, I've put in their sort code and their account number on there, albeit it is made up for this example. And I've asked the client to make sure that the direct payment, that it includes the contract reference number, i.e. the invoice number, just so it makes it easier for me to be able to track the payment from the bank back to the invoice. And that's it, apart from one really important message at the bottom. So it is really, really important that you put in, and again, this is for legal reasons, that you put in your trading name, your registration number, and your VAT number. That's really important that you put those 3 pieces in, because that makes it then a legal document. So I hope that's okay. It is fairly straightforward. Again, apologies for the busy slide, but if it's broken down 1 then to 12, I think it's quite self-explanatory. So I've got a little task for you. So before you move on and before you go to the next training session, I'd like you to search online for an appropriate template to produce your invoice. And there's loads of them out there. There's absolutely loads. And then I'd like you to populate it with all of the details that's required. So use the template that I've just had on the previous slide, and then save the template for future use. So that's a little task for you before you move on to the next training session. If you want to talk to me about any subject or indeed from what you've learned today, then please do. Please email me at team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. That's team@hcmediagroup.co.uk. It would be an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I hope you've enjoyed this part of the course. I've been Joe Hamilton, and thank you for listening.